Greetings, dear ones. Happy New Year. This is Friday, the 2nd of January, and we have company. Callie is down there going to accompany us with his energy today. And I wish you all much happiness, good health, and wonderful abundance in all your joys and wishes for the new year. Today I'm going to be giving a bit of an overview of the energetics that are here at this point in time assisting us. And then we're going to do an exercise, an experiential with yourself. So if you can, grab some paper and a pen or a pencil as you're going to be jotting some things down. And then we're going to drop into an energetic deep dive where I will be transmitting many of the energetics that I mentioned and others such as universal origin energy. I'll explain a little bit about that later, and the new way of law, and some other nature and universal galactic energies as well. So, and all of those that you bring, because that does actually, not only is it here in the mix today, but if you're listening at a later time, excuse me, those energetics of your helpers, your particular spirit guides, your what you align with, what you resonate with as far as any particular tradition is concerned, or also those things that you resonate with or align with on a daily basis, be it aspects of nature, figures from history, mythology, etc. Because please know that those are all streams of information. And the energy and the energetics within them, whether it's an object, a concept, a new discovery, ancient energies from indigenous groups, ancient cultures, Egyptian, Greek, Mesopotamian, what have you, they're all still here. They are all still accessible. It is as if we are walking within a living, breathing, massive Unipedia. Instead of a Wikipedia, we live in a Unipedia, wherein you can access answers and information and assistance from anywhere within the universe. And the Earth itself has representatives and has the energetic of just about anything in the universe is here. It may be within other worlds and realms and kingdoms that interface with this planet, as well as other dimensions that interface with this planet. But it is all here, not only be it a particular area, a particular object, a particular animal, a particular species, concept, idea, historic figure, historic event, mythological, legendary, what have you, but also within each of us, we carry multiple existences of us. Existences, realities. Some call them lives, but I refer to them as existences because they're not necessarily humanoid. They're not necessarily any form that we know here on this planet, in this dimension. And you have chosen several of those existences to coordinate with your soul's project here at this point in time. Now, when I refer to a soul project, I'm not talking about lessons, I'm not talking about a school, I'm not talking about must-haves, I'm not talking about shoulds. This is a free will universe where you can do and be anything, anytime, anywhere. So you've chosen a particular project. Those people that usually find my work, particularly those who do so as clients on a one-on-one basis, or in the groups to which are going to be upcoming now in January, I'll mention later, are usually really large souls. Large meaning that they have vast experience either in this universe or on this particular planet, this particular project. So you've chosen to do something, accomplish something, achieve something, complete something that you have been exploring and experimenting with and discovering throughout multiple existences, and that perhaps you've decided to bring it all together and do something that you've never done before as a soul. That's the opportunity that we have with this massive evolutionary leap we're going through right now. And when I say massive, I mean that it is a huge change, a huge evolutionary leap, because it's not just a step, and that it is happening even faster than I anticipated and have been talking and teaching about for the past 15, 20 years. This is the time compression, as you may have noticed, has sped up such that we're watching massive destruction on all levels. Simultaneously, we are in a position to be able to create new, not recreate, not rebuild, not anything. This is a start from scratch, clean slate, in order to build what we do desire here, based in and built upon all the experience of this particular form of separation and polarity that we have been exploring in this form, this kind of pyramidal form, where a very small group at the top own and control the masses and the rest of the world, that we've been studying for 15,000 years approximately. But this has now been studied to its ultimate point, and it is now in its destructive phase, and we are building something new again. We have all chosen this as a collective of souls, and it appears to be moving forward, and as I said, at a very accelerated rate. I would anticipate that we have moved through and have been will be living from a built new world within the next 4 years. And I used to estimate that to be about a generation. By the next generation, this world will be in many ways unrecognizable. So you are right in the thick of it. You have chosen to be here. You are an honored and admired and respected and valued soul. And this is a very, very key point in time, which is why it's really, really important to not just set out goals and vision boards and all of those kind of old methods of achieving, but to deeply access the desires of your soul, your innate, which is your direct line of communication to your soul, and to what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what you want to feel and experience every single day. Conditions, situations, facts and figures notwithstanding, simply what you dream, what you wish, what you desire. And that's key. I'll talk about that throughout and this today's overview, and as well in other classes and courses that are upcoming. So we have these streams of information referred to as energetics, and they are offerings. They are offerings of the collective cooperative. And I named many different sources and resources, and that is the collective cooperative. It isn't just the human collective, but it includes also those forms and energies and beings in the non-physical, those that make up this galaxy and our intergalactic cluster and the universe itself. This is a very large cooperative and a very large collective of beings within that. And so with that, I'm going to bring forward some of those concepts and energetics. And of course, this being the beginning of a new year, and we just went through its ending, there is, of course, a lot of that energy here. And endings, completions, deathing, even the destruction of different aspects of us, or different aspects of our world. I had the great honor and privilege to be a witness and a participant at two magnificent beginnings yesterday at the annual Sacred Holy Kundalini event hosted by Maharishi Khalsa and his beautiful wife, Nirakaur. And it is always something very, very special, very, very powerful for beginning the year, and I wouldn't miss it. And yesterday included not only a magnificent dancer based in the Indian tradition, but also a blessing of a new couple that had just gotten married, and a blessing of one of the most beautiful and magnificent baby souls I have ever encountered. He was just precious, with maybe 50, 60s more people sending blessings to him, singing a chant, which he was absolutely reveling in. It was a lovely, lovely way to start and to bring in that energy of beginnings. Meanwhile, at the exact same hour, one of my dear and magnificent clients was ushering out her four-legged canine child who had suddenly been diagnosed with a horrific disease, and they chose yesterday as the day to transition her. So we have that juxtaposition and the paradox as always. Another beautiful ceremony that I participated in on the 31st was again a chanting mantra Kundalini based project or event, and it surrounded the very, very old and very core chant of Waheguru, and many of you may be familiar with that, but I don't know that I had ever heard this teaching and explanation of the Sanskrit meaning of Waheguru. I have heard that many times, its definition by many different sources, but I thought this was absolutely beautiful. That the word Wa is about ecstasy and the divine union, and Hey being bliss, all of those, or rather Hey being in the moment, in the absolute moment. So it's ecstasy and bliss in the absolute moment. And Guru is holding in a inclusive way both the dark and the light that is present at this time as well, or in that moment. And it's, again, how I've been teaching for many years about what I refer to as mutual duality, which is not dualistic nor non-dual. Non-dual generally means that there is a third option between the two dualistic points, but mutual duality embraces, encircles, holds, sits. You sit within both the dark and the light in its magnificence, in its power, in its potential, in each of its teachings and its offerings. Because the dark is, as well as the light, part of the one, part of the source, part of each of us, part and parcel of everything. Another beautiful aspect that came forward this week was a movie. Of course, if you've ever seen anything or read anything that I've written, you know that movies are a significant part of my teaching and my work, because they oftentimes are transmitting energetics. They are transmitting one of these streams, whether it's through the graphics or the words of the script, or maybe it is an image or a particular being presented in that movie. And so you can capture, you can receive the transmission, you can actually resonate with perhaps a being that represents you in another reality. There are so many things that they hold. And this week, and as a matter of fact, it was last night, I was doing things around the house and kind of turn on old movies because most of them I'm familiar with. And the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington was on. And I know they remade it, but I encourage you to not watch that one and to watch the old one, albeit in black and white. It was from 1939, and it is a perfect depiction of exactly what we are facing in our nation right now. And being that it was directed by a multi-Academy Award winning director, Frank Capra, it is always going to have beauty within it, beauty of the human spirit, inspiring and enlightening and uplifting. So I encourage you to watch it. And it is about Mr. Smith becomes a senator, and the politics and the games and the political machines and the graft that has been a part of our government for a very long time. Every government for that matter. But in this particular instance, it's focusing on the United States government and our process of governing. And at one point, the main character is very disheartened, very disillusioned, very depressed, and very despondent because he doesn't feel he can do anything to counteract the powers that are overwhelming not only him personally, but our country and our actual processes of lawmaking, etc. So he was wandering around Washington, D.C., and he finds himself at the Lincoln Memorial. And behind him are the words carved in stone that Lincoln spoke after so much death in the Civil War. And so again, we have that deathing, that ending of lives, ending of a war, as a matter of fact. And he he's reading those words, and they struck me because this is something so key right now as far as newness and how we go forward. It says on the memorial, "This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." And another of the characters is calling forth what this man has within him, that she names decent, everyday rightness, and says the country can use that right now. As a matter of fact, the whole world can use some of that decent, everyday rightness. And when you make choices along those lines, then you too are making that change in the world. And she's saying that each and every one of us can take that job on and move into it, that job that Lincoln began, to move into that and tear into the character in the movie that is running the political machine is named Taylor, and she said they can tear into the Taylors and pull them out into the open, and that's how they are changed. They're seen and they're changed. And many of you have been doing that this year with all of the activism, the calls that you've made, the letters or postcards you've written, the actions that you've taken by being involved in your community, in your township, etc. And that is the beginning. It is the ending of our complacency, ending of our non-participation, the ending of our taking for granted, the ending of our taking advantage, that it's always upon someone else to do, and instead to realize that you, as dear, one of the dearest peace representatives in the world, the Mahatma Gandhi, said that you are to be the change that you want to see in the world, as we're all very familiar with. So we have opportunities for endings of this old way of governance, not in its original structuring, but in its distortion, in its means of destroying this idea of freedom, this potential design for true democracy. And that can only happen with our participation. So there is that beautiful idea. And again, there was another movie starting right after that, another Frank Capra movie based on a very famous play called You Can't Take It With You. So another invitation for us to take action, whether it's and before we take action, it is that desire and dream and wish that we place into the mechanics of this reality. Another wonderful article that came across my desk this week was a question of gravity revealing the fact that we live in a simulation. I'll try to post that in the comments below. And the fact that we have the ability, our consciousness is creating this reality. So therefore, when you place these wishes, desires, not a vision, not an intention, because that comes from will and mind. Wishes are that of a child. That's why it was so wonderful that we're still within the 12 days of Christmas. We have Three Kings Day coming up on Monday, and the Epiphany is also known as. And may it be an epiphany for you as to how you're going to make choices that align with those wishes and desires and dreams. And so we're going to be doing in our exercise focus on the physical life, your physical life, be it your body, your living arrangements, your work. relationships. And as well, we're going to be inviting, or I'm going to be inviting you to place in this container, this crucible, your wishes, desires, and dreams for your nation, which is why I was bringing forward Mr. Smith. In the movie I was referring to, you can't take it with you. There is, again, a beautiful depiction of one man creating a monopoly over an industry to be able to have an inordinate amount of power in our country over our aspects of our government and our very lives. Again, I think this is a late 30s or early 40s movie, but I encourage you to see it. Again, uplifting, wonderful, inspiring, funny, fabulous acting, script, etc. And this man is holding out. He is not selling his home, which would allow this large industrial leader to create this monopoly. And it's actually 1938. And there's a character in it describing this man's household, that it is a very free-spirited family, plenty of creative ideas. They spend their days following their passions and enjoying life. And they then therefore are living as if they are rich as if they are rich. It is a chaotic household, but a happy one. So again, pick up that energy of people living as they choose, very well, working together because they are accepting and they are celebrating and encouraging and valuing each one's particular passion, each one's particular chosen way of living their life and expressing themselves. So again, we have that energy as well as that of the destructive forces attempting to control our lives as they have done for thousands of years. It's no longer possible. It is no longer possible. We are too informed. We are too powerful. We are too interconnected. Even though all forces are attempting to do the opposite, it cannot and will not be. But because of the acceleration of this evolutionary leap, it is vital that you too accelerate your creation of the new world, your new life, the new earth, or our new nation. Another factor that came and offered itself this week was an article that came in today, as a matter of fact, that is based in what is now called or referred to as SAI. And it's, let me pull it up so I'm not misquoting it, but it is actually a new rule, if you will. There's very few rules in biology because it's very much changing, unlike the laws of physics and mathematics that are pretty fixated rules. But in biology, because there's constant movement and life and growth, as well as endings and deathing, rules do not necessarily stay constant, so they're more observations. And the SAI I was referring to is selectively advantageous instability. Not very accurate for what we're going through right now, right? But this is strictly in regard to an actual observation in cells. And it says that scientists found a paradox in evolution, and it may become the next rule of biology. A new study unexpectedly reveals that cells thrive on chaos. And the selectively advantageous instability is an exploration of how instability can actually benefit a cell and a cellular organism. That means us. And the flip side of that new rule is that it is also can be a key factor to things like disease and aging. So understanding this process could aid in those biological processes. But again, we have this juxtaposition, we have this paradox. The chaos can lead to destruction, or it can lead to growth and evolution and becoming, thriving within that instability and chaos. So feel that. Feel these discoveries, whether it's questioning and studying whether gravity is a key to this reality we're living in being a simulation, or again, what I just quoted, there is constant information, data, concepts that we can access and employ and bring in to assist us to cooperate with us, to collaborate with us, to communicate with, to connect with, to actually commune with. We are not ever alone in any moment of any day, in anything we do. And so please know that in this newness that we're moving into. And just again, another very powerful, inspirational, again, movie script, which is actually the exercise that we're going to be doing. In just a couple minutes, you are going to be writing your own movie script. And I'll give you some guidance for that in just a minute. But I do want to read you this idea of, it takes place, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. They've remade it several times. The last time it was remade was with Richard Dreyfuss, and he's a pilot and passes on, and his girlfriend or wife is still alive, and he's there with her through her own adventures. And it was remade prior to that. I think this is, I want to say, in the 40s, early 50s maybe. And this is the character in the movie that has passed on, and he's being spoken to, or he's speaking to the pilot that is now involved in his former girlfriend's life. And he asks, have you ever been up in your plane at night, alone somewhere, 20,000 feet above the ocean? Did you ever hear music up there? If you've heard it, you'd remember it. And maybe your experience of this was not in a plane as a pilot, but we've all had, or it's my prayer that everyone has had, that moment of bliss and ecstasy and divine union that is referred to in that word wahe. And so this is the invitation for that to be in this mix today. He says, if you've heard it, you'd remember it. And that moment when you experience that divine union, that bliss, that ecstasy, your body, your energy field, your emotional body, everything, every fiber in you remembers it. We quickly forget it and get caught up in this third dimensional sensating reality. But the more you sit in, the more you call this bliss forward, the more you will realize how malleable and how flexible and how filled with potentialities this reality is, and that you get to choose. He goes on to say, It's the music a man's spirit sings to his heart when the earth's far away and there isn't any more fear. It is the high, fine, beautiful sound of an earthbound creature who grew wings and flew up high and looked straight into the face of the future and caught just for an instant, the unbelievable vision of a free man in a free world. If you haven't heard it, there's no way I can talk to you. Oh, children would understand for sure, because the future belongs to them. They're already moving into it. They're going to climb out of the dust and knock it off, lift up their heads and see the sky. They're going to fly like a generation of angels into the free air and sunlight. Oh yes, children would always understand. Free as the air. Men have said that ever since they crawled out of caves and came down from trees. That's what we're fighting for. The freedom of the very air we breathe. The freedom of mankind rushing to greet the future on wings. No man is really dead unless he breaks faith with the future. And no man is really alive unless he accepts his responsibility to it. That's a chance for getting the opportunity to pay off to the future what you owe for having been part of the past. Just another way to say, I'm glad I lived. I'm glad I was alive. And now let me give you a hand. That's the opportunity we all have in this designing, in this creating of the new way, the new earth, the new life for each and every one of us. And so now within those energetics, I invite you to pull out your piece of paper or pad, journal, and really allow yourself to be the writer of a movie script. A movie that has maybe references to things from before, but a movie script that has not been written. It is a blank page, a blank slate that you are being given the opportunity to jot down, maybe not in specific words or phrases or complete paragraphs. Maybe it's just images, symbols, sounds, shapes, signs that you've had, objects. Draw, write the word. And I invite you to describe, not in great detail, for then we are limiting the universe to meet you, but instead the feeling that you have in that completed wish, or in that granted wish, let's call it, in that developed dream, in that met desire. And again, I really invite you to stay within dreaming and desire and wishing. And that does not come from here. It comes from a place deep within. Not even your heart. Some aspects of it may be, but the heart has been greatly influenced by this world. Your innate, which is your soul's point within your physio-energetic body, and your core. Your core is in the very center of your body. If you were to draw a midline and a midline in your torso, that is where you will find your core essence. This is the essence of your soul. that you have brought with you through every existence, every form, every experience that you've had as a soul, not limited to this universe alone. So I invite you to put your hand just a little bit below your diaphragm and over the very middle of your torso, and settle into the chair, couch, floor, whatever you may be sitting on, and allow yourself to feel those areas initially of your body, and allow yourself to feel within you. And you cannot do that by seeing or by thinking what is there, for that brings the energy back up through your brain, and you are then intellectually or cognitively looking at feeling. So just sinking down in and letting all of these incredible energetics and more be around you, swirling through you, just enabling, clarifying what it is that you deeply desire. For you can start with your body, and you might jot down or draw a picture, put something that symbolizes healthfulness, wholeness, ease and comfort in your body. I encourage you to use words that you want to feel, that it is, you don't want to put not words, like to be without pain, to be without something, to not do something. You just want to sit in the wish or the dream or the desire. I desire, I love feeling my health filled, stamina filled, sleep, well rested body. Again, use your own words. If that's not an area that you want to address, then I encourage you to, or if in addition to that you would like to lay out your desires and wishes and dreams for, I won't say career, and I hesitate to even use the word work. There's a wonderful word in Spanish that tends to pop out of my mouth. It's oficio, and the closest word would be one's calling, because work implies a lot of effort and push and drive and etc. And when you are actually moving from that place within that, what you want to, what you desire to feel every day in your, again, for lack of word, I'm going to be calling it work, in your work. Maybe it is what you are currently doing. Maybe it is something that you've dreamed about. Maybe, as so many people I encounter, oh, once I retire, once I have the money from my 401k or what have you, then I will do this. And I'm encouraging you to let all of that fall away. For in the day and age that we are living, anything can happen. Anything can... nothing is count-onable, let's put it that way. So, but what you can count on are those pure, clear, divinely emanating desires and wishes and dreams. and allowing, along with the cooperation and collaboration of all of your people, all of the collective, cooperative, for they are all in on this project. Every form of grass, every cloud, every non-physical being, those that have gone before us, our ancestors, figures throughout history, legend, myth, movies, books, all our energetics here available for us to access, utilize, learn from, benefit from, be guided by, assisted by, supported by. And when you've done that, I would invite you then to bring forward, and you can work on this at another time as well, but just bring forward the feeling of what it is like as you are living in your nation that allows for that freedom I mentioned. Freedom to be, freedom to become, freedom to pursue, freedom to count on the air, the food, the water. Count on the regulations, laws that provide and protect its peoples, that create opportunities. Those are my words. Please use your own desires and dreams. And of course, within that those personal wishes and desires are relationships as well. What are your dreams, desires, and wishes in regard to your relationships? And then I would invite you to have another section where you are feeling the experience of the new earth. The new earth where perhaps there is great unity within diversity, where our environment, our oceans, our land, our wild places are preserved and protected, honored, valued, respected, recognized as wise or holding wisdom and information and offerings. And again, just a word or two or a picture, you can fill this out later. And again, this week was just a couple days ago. One of my, what I call my coffee message in the morning, as I have my first sip of coffee, there is a lovely little inspirational deck that I have in Spanish by the amazing teacher Edwina Gaines, Gaines. And I invite you to say this. I will say it slowly, and you can repeat it. Again, I will post this in the comments below so that you can say this as frequently as you desire. Right now, I am willing to change, to grow, to risk, to play, and to live with passionate abandon. I'm going to repeat that. Right now, I am willing to change, to grow, to risk, to play, and to live with passionate abandon. And that's what I invite you to feel as you write and later fill out these desires and dreams and wishes already accomplished. What does it feel like to be living within that life, physically, as far as your calling is concerned, as far as relationships are concerned, how it feels to live in this nation, this democracy, this forward movement, futuristic potentiality of governance. And how you feel as you're watching and observing and traveling and hearing about different places on this planet being safe and secure from assault and disrespect and devaluing and using as if it were a thing. One of the beautiful nature helpers with this practice has been rain, rejuvenating rain, allowing us to cleanse and clear and wash away the old, the dead, the endings, so that we may be in the healed, if you will, present. And the powerful, powerful energetic through the mantra Wahe Guru. And those of you who are energetically sensitive can obviously feel the transmissions that started quite a few minutes ago, but now they're deepening. So you might want to just lay down your pen or pencil and allow yourself to be immersed in this incredible alchemical crucible that holds not only all of the ingredients of energetics that I may have mentioned, brought forward in the readings, the quotes, the articles, but allowing for this experience of being within a crucible, an alchemical crucible, and all of that energy of endings, deathing, destruction, friction, chaos, instability, unknowing, fear, anger, despair, sorrow, all our energy, all our very powerful, fiery energy that allows for the transmutation of that which we no longer desire to be a part of our reality, whether it's personal, national, or global. Allow the fires underneath this crucible from those many factors and more to mix and blend and weave and deconstruct. Create. Feel your physical body. Feel your energetic body. Feel your emotional body. Feel your spiritual body. And yes, even feel your mental body without allowing it to be the lead, the driver. Allow yourself to have an internal encounter, an inner meeting with the many parts of you, the many aspects of you, the many existences of you. You need not identify, you need not analyze, you need not label, you need not do anything with them. But simply allow yourself to sit within you, immersed in this energetic crucible, endings, beginnings, darkness, light, good, evil, destruction, creation. All must be included within this container, within this project, Earth, within this universe, for it is and has been. For the billions of years that it has been in existence. But now, for some time, there has been a new origin of this universe. Out of the particular parameters the way of polarization that has been to a new set of laws and forms and potentials. Oh yes, we still will be within a dualistic universe, but not at the level or form or degree of polarization and duality. With new laws, new cosmic laws, new laws of physics, new spiritual laws. In some ways more expansive than those we have been bound by. And the new way of law human law. Or it is not laws from outside or from governing bodies, but instead the innate natural law within each one of us. That way of being quite natural to children before they are taught. Before they are imprinted with unnatural restrictions and prejudices and ways of separateness. Again, allowing yourself to just sink a little bit deeper within you, allowing your mind to go have a nap, Sit in the back seat. And instead allowing your inner verse, your deep internal knowing, the feeling that we all know and we're caused to shut down or cover over. But it is there, it has always been there, it will always be there. You need not look for it, you need not effort to pull it forward. Asking and allowing is simply enough. That decent everyday rightness that was mentioned from the movie. That decent everyday rightness that automatically comes forth when someone is injured or in distress. That natural and automatic, decent, everyday rightness that knows, can feel, and feeling knowing of when you are doing right or wrong. Of whether your deeds, words, and thoughts are causing harm or not. These are not things that need be taught. It is natural, it is automatic, it is who you are, your true self. And therefore it is under and behind and around that true self which births forth your desires and dreams and wishes. All within this great sacred geometric constantly moving, adjusting, structure which makes up this Earth project. As the individual representation of the universe as a whole. For it is all here. And you are here. Purposefully, deliberately, designedly. And therefore able willing and committed to create anew. Allow yourself to feel that purity within your wishes and desires and dreams. Not based in or sourcing from societal, religious, familial, tribal, or any other determinants. For we are here now. To become who we truly are, who we naturally are. Who we innately are. Physicalizing that magnificence, that power, that divine presencing. Coming out, so to speak. Loudly, proudly, fearlessly. in all that will make each moment an adventure. And in that safety, security, of the everlasting, this message of the plant and tree and flower masters. As you feel the sacred joy of your essence, it will enable you to be motivated solely by your innate, that is your soul's voice, loyal to your sense of yourself, and building your dream by speaking your truth, anchored into awakening, to thereby release your power and passion, gathering in your heart's desires, while accessing the highest potential of your soul's purpose, to see and know wisdom, excited about incorporating all of you, all existences of you, into your everyday expression, and all you do. And although this may have the flavor of the Christian tradition, it is really more about feeling the security and safety and accompaniment that is available to us in every moment of every day and every night. I will read it as it was written. Take from it what you wish and leave the rest. And I encourage you to let the words and the forms soften and widen. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings thou shalt trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore when I deliver him, I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. If he will call on me, I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him. And again, although it is from the more Christian religion, please let the words go and feel the safety and security and support and holding and encirclement and help and guidance and accompaniment and encouragement and celebration of not only your divine uniqueness, but your human divine beingness. My wishes for you are boundless within fearlessness, sovereignty, and freedom. Freedom above all else in every aspect of your being. Physical freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom, spiritual freedom, and energetic freedom. May this year bring you quickly, easily, and effortlessly your desires, your dreams, and your wishes. As always, it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on this planet at this time. Until next time.